Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sheldon, and this is Behind the Enthusiast. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Buell's brand new model, the Super Cruiser, which is slated to come out in 2025, so let's get into it. So, first things first, I'm not here to trash talk Buell, don't worry. I watched Roland Sand's release video on this bike that they collaborated with Buell on, and this bike looks absolutely crazy. It sounds crazy. And from the video, there are a lot of details to go over. The bike looks absolutely amazing. Basically, this has been compared to what a modern day FXR would be. It's essentially what they've done is taken an FXR, Harley Davidson, and basically evolved it into a modern day version of it, which is absolutely crazy. This thing is rocking a weight of 450 pounds. Now, they didn't actually specify if that's dry or wet, so we don't know the actual specifics on that. 175 horsepower engine. This is the V-twin engine that they use in all their bikes, and there are some horsepower discrepancies on some of the models. I have seen some listings for 180 or 185, but this one supposedly has 175. And obviously, the bike, it is completely custom. However, there are a few things to note that are basically, well, let's put it this way, it's a very modular setup. Basically, you have the engine, you have the swing arm, you have the forks, the 17-inch wheels, and the brakes. This stuff is all the same, and basically they've just transferred it over, which, by the way, is very, very smart of Buell to be doing this. So utilizing that setup to build a brand is really, really smart, and I think this is one of the reasons that Buell's pricing is actually pretty good. Now, at the moment, they don't actually have any prices listed. The MSRP was not stated anywhere. I have seen some articles online stating it is going to be approximately $20,000. One of the articles actually stated it was going to be well north of 20 grand. So I don't know what they mean by that. I don't know if they mean like 25 grand, 29 grand. I have no idea. But they didn't state that. They are taking pre-orders at the moment for $50. And from what I read on the website, you can actually pre-order 2 per account. So basically that means you could order 2 bikes, pre-order 2 bikes. I don't know if you guys would want 2 of these things, but let's dive into a few more details of this bike, which has been considered a club bike based on all the things that they've done to it. They've got some really sticky Dunlops on it, which I would say contribute to the ability to do wheelies on this bike. The burnouts, obviously, a high horsepower, you just hold the front brake and let her rip. Now, obviously, moving on with the rest of the bike, Roland Sands did mention that they extended the front forks. He said it was about an inch or inch and a half extension. I'm not too sure. I can't really see that visually, obviously, because I don't know what it's based off of originally, what model in particular, whether it was the Hammerhead or something else, the 1190 SX. And they also did custom upper triple clamp. Now, this was to accommodate the T-bar setup, which is actually utilizing the RSD riser and a handlebar. And so you've got all these essentials from the Buell brand, and then you have all these little custom pieces. Obviously, the frame is custom as well, and you almost have this kind of secondary afterthought rear fender slapped on there, which I'm not a huge fan of it. It is very simple, which is nice. However, I did see on their Instagram page, if you guys want to go and check that out for Buell, they did actually have a concept photo showing a trellis fender finger, if you will, and that was really cool. I believe that was taken from the 1190 SX, if I'm not mistaken, and I would really like to see that on the production model. I'm hoping it makes it. If it doesn't, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But moving on, we've got the huge custom aluminum rad at the front. This thing is just there. They made this thing very large, basically custom, just kind of stuck it on there. And it was something they were actually pretty proud of, making that. And the fuel tank was cut and narrowed. I saw that in the video as well. So basically allowing the fuel tank to be very slim and very fitted. And I believe it also lowered it a little bit more as well. So the center of gravity is also lower, which is obviously a good thing. I'm thinking of high center of gravity. I'm thinking of Sportsters, very top heavy. So this one, obviously this bike has kept that in mind and gone for a lower center of gravity, which is really nice. And the T-bars, well, they're not really T-bars. Like I said, they are a RSD riser with essentially a moto bar. All the hand controls are the same. They're off of the Buells. Nothing is custom there from what I saw in the video. And then, of course, you have that part of the club bike, club style bike. You have a Memphis Shades fairing, which actually suits the bike rather well. The exhaust, which is an SC Project exhaust from their FTR build. I'm not too sure what that was in reference to. Maybe a flat track bike or a super hooligan bike, perhaps. And it is a 4x2x1. Yeah. So they've done some customizations there. And overall, I did find the bike to be rather well put together. Obviously, this is more or less just a concept bike. It's a, it's an imagining of what the bike can potentially be. Like I said, with the trellis fender fingers, I would like to see those on the actual production bike. Everything that Roland was talking about in the video made the bike sound really, really good. And so watching the clips, watching the bike carve, the corners of the road, Roland did, this is the one thing that I would like to mention that I wasn't totally convinced of. And that was when Roland was saying that the seat and the bars and everything and the foot controls, basically he said it was the perfect setup for riding. Now, unfortunately, we're not all the same height. So I feel like this is kind of a moot point coming from him, because if I get on this bike, I don't think I'm going to be as happy as he is unless we are the same height and our arms are the same length. So I feel like that is a little bit misleading for anyone who is looking at the bike and hearing him talk about the bike and him saying, oh, this is the perfect setup. Well, it's not really perfect for everyone. It's perfect for him and anyone else who has similar features, obviously height and everything. So I feel like that was a little bit misleading, but otherwise I do agree with him in terms of where his arms are. Your arms being straight out, not full lock. It does actually contribute to you actually having a lot more control over the bike. And so realistically, I don't have any complaints about this model whatsoever. The weight, the horsepower, the design, everything looks really, really good. A lot of people are loving this, and I can see why. And so I'm super excited for this bike to actually come out. Obviously, we got to wait a little bit, almost 2 years. However, pricing will get firmed up at some point, so we'll find out how much this bike is going to cost. And the only detail that I noticed that wasn't there was the seat. I didn't notice whether that was a custom seat, whether it was from Saddleman. I have no idea. So I don't know if I just missed that detail, but I didn't see it talked about anywhere in the video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The bike looks pretty crazy, so I'm super excited. And so I'm going to pass a question on to you guys. What are your thoughts on the 2025 Buell Super Cruiser? Do you guys think this is a modern-day FXR? Are you guys disappointed that Eric Buell isn't part of it? Or do you think because he's not involved and Harley's not involved, that they actually had more freedom to actually design this bike? And of course, if you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button so I know that it's working. Any comments or questions, your opinions on what this bike is going to be, or the finalized version if you guys have seen those concept photos. Let me know what you guys would like to see added to the bike, or maybe taken away from the bike, or changed. Let me know down below. And as usual, be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss out on future content on the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.